Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be playing a game from 1991, and it's going to be Eye of the Beholder, which is supposed to have quite a legendary reputation. It's an RPG, a dungeon crawler from the Westwood Studios of the, Command and Conquer, Dune, I think Legend of Kyrandia, and some adventure games fame. And I unfortunately didn't get a chance to play it as a little kid when it was coming out, so we're going to do it blind, and we're going to experience the game for the first time together. But before we get into any of the organizational stuff, let's just dive in and check the intro. After, of course, doing all the usual DOS setup, and we're going to play with the mouse. Oh, the vibes of this. Whenever you hear this kind of a music, you know you're in for a good time. And yes, it's a game based on the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons rule set and the world. It will take place in Waterdeep, as we are about to see. It came out in 1990, not 1991. We, the Lords of Waterdeep, have gathered to purge our city of an ancient evil. Give call to the heroes of the land, and let us choose our champions. Master. They think they have found a solution. And that's going to be our party, of 4, of course, as it tends to be. And we're going to get the shortest briefing of any story you've ever heard. As we come in front of the Lord of the Waterdeep. We commission you to find the nature of this evil and destroy it if you are able. Prepare for the dangerous journey. We have a thief, a wizard, a fighter, and of course, a cleric. Although our party might look different in the end. So that's it. That's our briefing. All clear what we have to do? Let's go. Oh, how colorful this is. Begin your search below the city, in a biome that you hate in every single RPG game ever since the 90s. This is yours. And interestingly enough, us 4 unimportant adventurers, we have them, are somehow important enough that whatever evil there is going to cave in the actual sewers and trap us here. Their fate is sealed. And here we are. So, yeah, it's going to be a dungeon crawler game, much like for example Ishtar or Dungeon Master or Ultima Underworld. And I've heard many great things about it, but I have no idea. I've played a little bit of the first floor. I have no idea what's coming up, how good the game actually is, what it's about, and really how it plays in detail. So we're going to experience all of it together. And we're going to start by creating a new party. We have 4 slots, and the characters will be split in 2 rows, where, just like in Dungeon Master, the characters in the front row can engage in melee combat. They're going to take most of the hits, and they're going to be able to dish out melee damage. And then the characters in the back row are going to be the ones that are casters or that have ranged attacks, and are a little bit more shielded. Of course, things might hit them in the end, but they are not going to be getting the brunt of the damage of the front characters. So we're going to start with, let's make a dwarf fighter. I have no idea if alignment plays a role, if there's NPCs to interact with. I know that in the manual, in the proper paper manual for the game, you get some information about NPCs that can join your party, so that there can be supposedly 2 extra slots for characters that might join your party. But whether alignment plays a role, maybe some of them are on your side, some of them are not, I have no idea. We're gonna find out. Let's pick some hero that actually looks like a dwarven fighter. This chap. And now we're gonna have to roll 6 d20 dice in order to get our stats. What is strange is that the game allows you to theoretically just upgrade all of the stats to the max, and make yourself overpowered. I'm not sure how much really overpowered you are, but we're not going to do that. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Maybe just to roleplay. We're going to roll the die until we roll some nice stats. And what we are looking forward, or what we are looking for, is nice strength, because that affects our damage with the fighter. This is very nice. But also, unfortunately, a high constitution, because that affects the hit points of the fighter, and we want him to soak in as much damage as possible. So we are looking for constitution and strength of around 17 or 18, which could take a little bit. How lucky are we? And the third stat that is of quite some use to us is dexterity, because that affects the armor class and makes us harder to hit. This is amazing. We're going to keep that. Lots of health, decent strength. He's going to be amazing. And we're going to call him something like, I don't know, he's going to be Durgan. Now, the second frontline character, I would go with probably a cleric, because we need somebody who can heal our party and who can keep them alive, can support with some spells, but also can take some hits. And we're going to go with somebody who looks cleric-y. Oh, you have a cool tiara. It's going to be you. It's going to be a bit trickier to roll, because we are looking for a little bit of survivability, of course, as well. And we look for very high wisdom, which is the main attribute. This is decent, but 5 constitution we are not going to go with. So wisdom is an important character for casting cleric spells. But we also want the character to have some constitution, some strength, to be survivable, because she's going to be in the front line. So this is going to be tricky. And of course, what could happen is, as it tends to, whenever you roll stats like this, I've had many memories like this in Baldur's Gate back in the day, you might roll for a while, and then just because you're used to clicking, you're going to click one more time just as you get the perfect roll. This is great. 18 wisdom, 16 constitution, 11 strength. She's not the toughest, she doesn't give the toughest hits, but this is very decent. We're going to keep that. And I'm gonna call her Virgilia. That sounds cleric-y. Now, of course, there's no party that's complete without a mage. So we're gonna go with the mage. I hope the characters don't hate each other because of their alignment. We're gonna find out, I guess. Yeah, you look creepy as hell. And here we really mostly go after high intelligence, which is the main stat for spellcasting for a mage. What would not be bad is a little bit of constitution, a little bit of dexterity, because that makes the character survivable, a bit harder to hit. 17 is not bad. I would like 18 intelligence, if at all possible. Since really for mage that is the one reason of existing, to cast very powerful spells. Not 17, not 16. Come on. I mean, if we can't roll it, we will not spend half an hour on this, we'll just go ahead. But for now, the hope dies last. Let's go with a few more rolls, otherwise we settle for 17 the next time we see it. If we get unlucky with 18. For sure not 9, for sure not 14. We are also not going to go through with this, because 6 constitution is, this character is not long for this world. No, we cannot. 16 is also too low, 17 or 18. Next time we get 17 or 18, and a little bit more constitution, please. We're gonna make this mage our mage. 16 is not ideal. Let's go a little bit more. This is unfortunate. This is taking surprisingly long time. No. It really matters. It really matters that this is... We're gonna go with this. Not the most powerful mage we've had, but he has very high dexterity, so he's gonna be a little bit harder to hit. He's somewhat survivable. It's gonna be good enough. And he's gonna be called... I have no idea. We're gonna go with Irenicus. And the last character in the party, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but we're gonna go with a thief. And I'm not sure because I don't know how much the thief skills really are going to play a role here. I don't know, do we get chests that we can lockpick? Is there traps we can disable? Are there characters we can steal from? I have no idea. And here we care mostly for dexterity, so that the character can become a good ranged attacker. Which is not bad. And because also dexterity, I believe, affects the thief skills. So again, lockpicking, for example, although I'm not sure if there is lockpicking, I've not seen that in the short time that I've played the first floor. So it's a good question how we want to mix the rest of the skills. I mean, this could be good enough. Yeah, let's go with a decent thief. Doesn't have to be amazing. And the thief's gonna be called Forefinger. Because of course, there's some lore behind that. And we're gonna start playing. So as you see, we are in a tile-based dungeon. There is, as far as I know, no map. Maybe we're going to find some map later on, but for now, I assume it's a kind of a game where back in the day you would have to draw on a little journal your own map, tile by tile, and just to keep track of things, which we are not going to do because, well, we are not crazy. As you see, we have our 4 characters. We can use their weapons by right-clicking on them. We can also use other items by putting them in the hand and right-clicking on it. So this is just a commission and a letter from the Lord or the King that we've been tasked to find the evil here and dispatch of it and keep any treasures we find on the way. Not super important. And I'm gonna keep her inventory open so that she can throw things. And she has a short sword, which I'm going to give to our fighter that he can dual wield. She's anyway in the back. She can't melee. She can just throw things perfectly. Now we're going to find things on the floor, like these lockpicks, which answers the question, okay, there is lockpicking, interesting. And these bones, I don't know what they are good for. And as you've seen, I could click on the grate, there were little eyes there, there's something in there. And it always runs away. I have no idea if we're supposed to be able to do something with it or not. I have a feeling there's going to be something to do with this creature, but for now I don't know how to get it out of there or what to do with it. And we continue. There's a kobold who died in 1 stone throw. Wow, that's crazy. There's a rune on the wall which we do not recognize. I have no idea yet what these are for. I'll explore this little nook. So I've seen the first floor of the game. Beside that, beyond that, it's all blind way through. Also, you're able to use items on the, let's say, contextual elements in the environment. So theoretically, if there was like a little hook or something, we might be able to put it in the drain pipe and retrieve if there's an item deeper in there. So we have to keep an eye on the environment as well. And because, yeah, there might be secrets, there might be puzzles. We're going to see. Now we see there's the creature again, and if we click on it here, it's going to run to the other side yet again. So I have a feeling we have to find some trap or some food or something to drag it out, but I have no idea how to do that. I did try to leave, when the first time I played, the ration for it in the front of the grate, but it didn't do anything. We also cannot hit it. I have no clue. Maybe with a spell we could do something. We're going to have to come back there. And not every grate has it, as you see. So that one is somehow special. Now, there is a door here that we can open up with a button. And a few more kobolds. Or goblins or whatever they are. Oh, that was very good. And as you've heard, so there's a scroll of the Detect Magic, that's for our mage. As you have heard, and some throwing daggers. Oh, and I can put on my belt daggers. Okay, maybe you can then use them. We've stepped on a pressure plate down here, which activated the door. So there's also those elements in the dungeon. There's some more rations. We have food meter, which goes down whenever we camp, which we are going to do a bit later. And camping is also how we prepare our spellcasters to have some spells ready to be used. For now, they can't do anything. And there's a door that doesn't open here. As you can see behind the corner, there's a worm. Good. Okay, so it looks like if you have and they not go behind the corner. That's interesting. So as you see, if we have some ammunition on our belt, the characters will also, when they throw, for example, a dagger, they will replenish the projectiles. So we can throw multiple of them without having to go to the inventory and bringing them back to the main slots, which is very, very nice. Okay, so we now collect stones. You might have noticed down here in the notes that our cleric has gotten a level up. But as it tends to be in these old Dungeons and Dragons rules, there's not much we can do. There's no active leveling of some statistics. We've just gotten a little bit tougher to hit, have a little bit more health, and can potentially cast new spells, but there's nothing we can ourselves decide about how the level up goes. I'm just quickly exploring in case there is some secret button or something on the walls. And we continue. Make our stones. And collect Mage Scroll of Armor and Cleric Scroll of Bless. Now this would be a good opportunity to show you how the camping works. Because our spellcasters right now, if I right-click on the Book of the Mage, cannot cast anything. So we need to camp and we need to memorize spells, which takes a little bit of time. So if I do that, you see the spellcaster, the mage, is selected. There's this little border around him. And he can decide that what spells he's going to prepare for after the camp. And I'm going to select Detect Magic and Magic Missile from the first level, and Melf's Acid Arrow, just a pure damage spell from the second level. He can also, because he only knows spells that he's already read a scroll for, so he can also scribe scrolls. We've picked up the Scroll of Armor before, which he can then copy over into his book. And now, theoretically, if I go back to memorization, you see I could now select Armor as well. And the Cleric, I'm going to pray for spells, which is kind of equivalent. She's going to get 1 Bless, because that affects the whole party. That's quite powerful. Makes everybody hit a little bit harder and easier. And I'm going to pick some Cure Light Wounds, because she's going to keep our party healed up. And from the second level, I'm going to take 1 of each. I'm not yet sure which of these spells I might need in which situations. And maybe since I'm here, I'm going to save the game. There's only 1 slot. So you already know that's not going to go well. If we get ourselves into a bad spot and we save when we are trapped somewhere, that's going to be very rough. I wonder if we can soft lock ourselves from progression. And we rest 8 hours, 10 hours. And as you see down here, our spellcasters have properly, in that span of time, properly memorized the spells. Okay, continue. There is a little grate here, or drain. Nothing in there. Grate down here, nothing in there. And we continue. Oh. I mine the damage, and they're dead. This is going surprisingly well so far. Let's put a few more throwing daggers on the belt. There's another grate with nothing here. Let's collect the rest of the projectiles. I wonder what these little slots under the weapon are. And let's also collect the stones. I don't even know if it's better to have... Maybe it's better to have daggers, throwing daggers instead of stones. We're gonna find out. And there's another drain with nothing in there. Now, one more pressure plate. And some more goblins, or... That's not what I wanted to do. Sometimes the UI suffers a little bit from being a little bit unresponsive. There's a tiny lag, which makes things a little bit confusing. Let's do it like this, and throwing dagger. I have no idea if we can look at these things. We probably can't. To kind of be able to tell their damage, right? I don't know how we would do that. I look at them like this? No. So I would like to know if throwing stones is doing more damage than throwing daggers, for example, or vice versa. But I guess we're going to have to just feel it out, right? Or just check the numbers when they appear when we hit the enemies. And some more rations. As you see, we've camped, so our food meter has gone down a little bit. It's checking the walls in case there's some secret here. There's a button here which I don't fully understand for now. It closes the door, which I don't know why we would want to do that. Doesn't seem to open anything else. So it kind of makes me think that there is something hidden here, but for now I don't know what it would be. Maybe we can try to cast with our mage, detect magic. Oh, it's shining blue, as if to indicate that there is some active spell. That's interesting. Maybe let's quickly go back while this is active, just in case something else shows up. I'm kind of especially curious, if I go all the way to the beginning, about this creature. Does it show anything? No. And the rune? Also not. So I'm not sure what this is good for. Let's continue. We'll go back to where we just were. And we continue exploring this floor. So we've explored this door now. Now we go forward. There's one more mechanic actually here, because as you see, this pressure plate now only works as long as there is some weight on it, which we can easily take care of by putting down a stone on it. Okay, detect magic spell expires. Nothing here as well. Let's continue. We replaced the stone we just used. That's nice. And keep exploring. Now notice, this I've seen before, this tile has different color than all the other ones. And if I click on it, it opens up a wall, which just connects us to a portion of the dungeon we've already been to, so this is nothing spectacular. But it teaches us that, indeed, there are elements in the environment. Here's another one that open up new secrets. Hey, that was a bit surprising. But it's going to become an important tool. We're going to have to keep an eye out for all kinds of things like that. And here what's interesting is, okay, we got a dart. If I look here in the middle of the room, you see there is a chute. There's a pit in the ceiling above us. So I am assuming that if we somehow get on a higher level, or maybe if we find once a rope or some flying spell, we might be able to come back here and maybe somehow get up there. Although I have no idea for now how that could be done. But it seems to connect to something else. Okay, so we've explored both illusory walls, and we continue through the door. I just checked that there's nothing in the drain. And we've got some more worms. And we've got more worms yet. Oh, that is interesting. Did you see what just happened? So I threw a dagger, but because the daggers kind of fly one tile at a time, I was able to run fast enough to run into the dagger that I threw and injure my cleric. Well, that's just sad, I have to say. So there is also, we've seen there's one more worm here. I didn't want to do that. Let's get rid of it before we proceed. Perfect. And I think that's as much as we find in this level. So let's quickly explore the rest. There's a shield. I don't think we're going to use it for anybody right now. Nobody's getting hit too hard. What the shield does is it increases armor class by 1 or decreases it by 1. So it makes it a little bit harder to get hit. But for now, I like my dual wielding fighter. And there is a door which can be opened through a button, which connects back to where we started. You remember this part? So this was we just opened a door which previously could not be opened, it was closed, there was no button to open it. We opened a shortcut. Otherwise, I don't think there is anything here. I'm just checking the walls, maybe there is some strange tile, but I don't see it. And there's this plate, which, how are we going to do this? We're going to put a stone on it. Hello? Are we not? Ah, so it's a kind of a plate which only closes the door, it doesn't open it, and this button opens it. So we need to press it now, the door closes. Now we open the door, and now the plate is already pressed, so us going over it is not going to do anything anymore. And I think that's all there is in this level. I've seen that there is somewhere, I don't know where it was, there was one more rune on the wall, which I've found last time I was exploring through this level. But right now I'm not sure where it was. And it didn't do anything, it was just there, so I assume that the runes are something for later. Ah, look, here. I don't know what we do with this. Man. It's maybe, you know what, let's try one more thing. Let's try to rest. Spend 10 more hours. Oh, spend how many? 17 hours. Okay, that's a bit wasteful. Hopefully we're not getting hungry too much. And let's try to use detect magic here. No, it has nothing to do with that. Okay. And detect magic is not the same as detect illusion, so I'm not sure if it would even uncover something else in these rooms. Some secrets. I guess not. Okay, so that's gonna be this floor. Let's go down. And here we're gonna encounter what used to be an anti-cheating or anti-pirating DRM back in the day, where each of the manuals for a game would come with a little page or multiple pages with keywords, and you would have to type like a random word that the game would ask you for from line X, word Y, to prove that you have the manual, that you've bought the game. And of course, this was way before internet, so there was no easy way to cheat that. You would not have access to that information. Luckily, I mean, I've bought the game on the good old games on GOG, so I think this I can just write anything, and it lets me through. There we go. And we are in the second level. I pick up a key. And I was just a little bit afraid. Some of the games used to have the mechanism where if you put in some word that didn't correspond to this anti-cheating DRM, anti-pirating DRM, they would allow you to proceed, but they would hard block you at some point by putting you in some environment which you have no chance of beating. So you would waste your time, you would get beaten by super hard enemies, and you would not be able to proceed. And I a little bit thought this might be the case here, but hopefully not. Otherwise, we're gonna have to redo it, and we're gonna have to have a look at the manual that the GOG comes with. But for now, I think that's going to be everything. We've beaten the first level of the Eye of the Beholder, and we're going to continue from here and see what this game has to bring. So far, I love the art style. I love how it feels, but I have no idea what we're about to enter. I have no clue. So next time, Properly Blind, and we take it from here. Until then, take care.